They tell us hard work leads to success. They say anyone can make it if they try hard enough. But what if the truth is a lot darker? The world's richest people don't just have money, they have power. They influence governments, dodge taxes, control industries, and keep you distracted while they get richer. Some of them didn't earn their fortunes. They rigged the system to hoard it. Today, we're exposing 15 dark truths about the world's wealthiest people. And by the end, you'll realize, being a billionaire isn't just about having money. It's about controlling everything. Number 15. They hardly pay taxes. If you work a regular job, taxes hit you before your paycheck even lands. But billionaires? Well, they barely pay anything. They don't make salaries like we normal people do. Instead, they live off stocks, investments, and loopholes that keep their tax bills laughably low. Take Jeff Bezos. In 2018, while Amazon made $11.2 billion in profits, it paid $0 in federal income tax. Elon Musk? Same deal. He legally avoided paying federal taxes in certain years. The trick? Instead of cashing out their wealth, billionaires borrow against their assets, sidestepping taxable income completely. They also stash fortunes in offshore accounts, use shell companies to hide money, and fund politicians to keep tax laws working in their favor. If they were taxed like normal people, billions, maybe trillions, could go toward education, healthcare, and infrastructure. Instead, they hoard it, and the system lets them. If you tried their tricks, you'd be in prison. Number 14. They influence governments a lot. We like to think we live in a democracy where people's votes decide how things work. But the truth? Well, the truth is a lot stranger than fiction. Billionaires don't just participate in politics, they own it. And 2025 US election is the perfect example of it. These people don't need to run for office when they can buy the people who do. Through super PACs, lobbying, and dark money donations, billionaires ensure that laws favor them, not the average person. They spend millions funding candidates who will protect their wealth by keeping taxes low, preventing wage increases, and stopping regulations. It's why corporations get massive subsidies, why climate laws barely pass, and why tax cuts for the rich keep happening despite public opposition. The government isn't working for the people, it's working for the highest bidder. And if a politician refuses to play along, they get crushed by a billionaire-funded opponent. You can vote every few years in a better hope, but billionaires are pulling the strings every single day. Number 13. They profit from economic crises. When recessions hit, people like you and me lose their jobs, their homes, and their savings. But for billionaires? Well, crashes are just investment opportunities for them, nothing more. In 2008, when millions lost their homes, investors bought foreclosed properties dirt cheap and turned them into overpriced rentals. In 2020 COVID pandemic, while businesses shut down and unemployment skyrocketed, billionaires added over $5 trillion to their wealth. They bet against the market, shorting stocks and profiting when companies fail. They buy struggling businesses, fire workers to cut costs, and sell them later at huge profits. Some even fund the chaos, like hedge funds that manipulate markets to trigger financial collapses they already planned for. The worse it gets for everyday people, the more billionaires win. They aren't just surviving financial disasters, they're engineering them. While the world suffers, they buy up resources and consolidate power. Nothing about this is accidental. So guys, please open your eyes and see the world. Number 12. They exploit cheap labor. You might love your favorite brands, but chances are someone was exploited to make them. Billionaires outsource production to factories in poor countries, where workers are paid next to nothing for brutal hours. Nike, Apple, and Amazon have all faced accusations of sweatshop labor, child labor, and inhumane working conditions. Many workers in these factories earn less than $2 a day, while CEOs make millions in bonuses. And if you think it's just happening overseas, well, sad to tell you, but you're still living under a rock. Warehouse workers, delivery drivers, and gig economy employees are treated as disposable, forced into unstable jobs with no benefits or protections. Billionaires could afford to pay fair wages without even noticing the difference in their bank accounts. But why would they, when exploitation keeps profit margins high? They sell you cheap products at high prices, all while paying workers as little as possible. Number 11. They control the media narrative. Ever wonder why billionaires never seem to face real consequences? That's because they own the media. Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. Rupert Murdoch controls Fox News, The Sun, and the Wall Street Journal. Even tech billionaires like Mark Zuckerberg decide what billions of people see on Facebook and Instagram. This isn't about informing the public. It's about controlling public perception. Negative stories about billionaires? Buried. Investigations into corporate corruption? Silenced. If an independent journalist digs too deep, they get sued, blacklisted, or threatened. Instead, the media feeds you celebrity gossip, viral trends, and outrage politics to keep you distracted. They want you arguing over meaningless topics while they quietly hoard more power and wealth. It's not journalism anymore. It's billionaire-approved propaganda. And as long as they control the narrative, the truth will always be whatever benefits them the most. Number 10. They monopolize industries. Billionaires don't just want money, they want control. That's why they eliminate competition and dominate entire industries. Amazon didn't just grow, it crushed bookstores, local retailers, and entire supply chains. Facebook and Google control online advertising, making it impossible for small businesses to compete. A handful of corporations now own the food, healthcare, and media you consume. Once they own the market, everything changes. Prices skyrocket, wages stagnate, and innovation slows. If a new startup becomes a threat, they buy it out or destroy it. It's not about competing, it's about owning everything. This isn't a free market. It's a billionaire-run monopoly. They control what you buy, where you shop, and even what you see online. The system isn't designed for fair competition. It's designed so that no one else has a chance to rise. Billionaires don't believe in capitalism. They believe in monopolization. Number 9. They fund wars and profit from them. War isn't about democracy or national security. It's about profit. Billionaires own defense contractors, invest in arms manufacturing, and supply weapons to both sides of conflicts. Every time a war breaks out, companies like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Raytheon see their stock prices soar. Governments pour billions into military spending, ensuring that wealthy investors get richer from destruction. Some billionaires even fund political instability in resource-rich countries, backing coups or wars to seize control over oil, minerals, and infrastructure. They don't care about soldiers or civilians. They care about contracts, resources, and power. The longer the war drags on, the more money they make. It's not just a tragedy, it's a business. Meanwhile, regular people suffer. Families are displaced, cities are destroyed, and soldiers fight wars that billionaires profit from. They don't care who wins, they just count their earnings. Number 8. They create fake philanthropy. Billionaires love to act like saviors, throwing money at charities for good PR, but most of their philanthropy is just a tax loophole. Many set up charitable foundations, not to help people, but to hide their wealth. They donate to their own organizations, write off billions in taxes, and still control the money. Instead of directly solving problems, they use their charity to protect their fortune. Some even donate to causes that benefit their businesses. Oil billionaires fund green energy projects that protect their industry. Tech billionaires donate to education programs that train future employees for their companies. It's all about giving just enough to look good, without actually changing the system. If they really cared about the world, they'd pay fair wages, stop lobbying against tax reforms, and actually support policies that help people. But they don't, because their philanthropy isn't about helping others. It's about helping themselves. Number 7. They control your data. Every time you search for something, buy a product online, or post on social media, billionaires are watching. They don't just own businesses, they own your data. Google, Facebook, TikTok, Amazon. These companies track everything you do. They collect your personal information, habits, interests, and even your location. Then they sell it to advertisers, corporations, even governments. Your privacy? It's a product they profit from, and it doesn't stop there. These platforms manipulate what you see, curating the content you consume to control your opinions, behaviors, and even your emotions. Ever noticed how social media can trap you in endless scrolling or push certain news stories while burying others? That's by design. They claim it's all for better user experience, but in reality, it's about power. When you control information, you control people. The more they know about you, the easier it is to sell you products, influence your decisions, and keep you addicted to their platforms. Billionaires aren't just selling you stuff, they're selling you. Number 6. They manipulate stock markets. If you think the stock market is a fair game, think again. Billionaires rig it in their favor, making money whether prices go up or down, while everyday investors get left in the dust. They use insider trading, market manipulation, and algorithmic trading to pump up stock values, sell at the perfect time, and leave regular investors holding the bag. Ever heard of shorting stocks? Billionaires bet against companies, profit when they crash, and then buy them up for cheap. When retail investors try to play the same game, the billionaires shut them down. Remember the GameStop short squeeze? When everyday people started beating hedge funds at their own game, trading apps were suddenly restricted. It's not about risk, it's about control. If you make money, it's gambling. If they make money, it's strategy. The stock market isn't an investment tool for the average person. It's a billionaire-run casino where they always win. Number 5, they buy their kids' success. You work hard, get good grades, and hope for a shot at success. Billionaire kids, they just buy their way in. Elite colleges, exclusive internships, and top executive jobs, reserved for the ultra-rich. Forget merit, forget talent. Money opens doors that normal people can't even knock on. Harvard, Yale, Stanford. Many billionaire families donate millions to these institutions, and suddenly their unqualified kids get accepted. It's not just education, it's career paths too. These kids are given high-ranking positions in companies they know nothing about. Board seats, CEO roles, political influence, all because of who their parents are, not what they can do. Meanwhile, regular people drown in student debt, struggle to find jobs, and face endless obstacles. But the billionaire class? They make sure their kids stay rich, powerful, and in control, whether they deserve it or not. The system isn't just rigged against you, it's designed to keep their bloodlines on top forever. Number 4, they buy up land and housing. Housing is supposed to be a basic need, but for billionaires, it's just another way to get richer. Investment firms and billionaire real estate moguls buy thousands of homes, condos, and apartment buildings, then jack up rent prices, forcing regular people to pay more for less. Some cities are now completely unaffordable because billionaires are turning neighborhoods into luxury investment properties. Companies like BlackRock and Vanguard have spent billions buying up entire blocks of homes, turning what used to be family neighborhoods into high-priced rental markets. The result? Home ownership becomes impossible for working-class people, and renting becomes a lifetime trap. And when prices get too high, they just let the market crash, buy up more land for cheap, and start the cycle again. Owning property isn't just about wealth, it's about control. The more land and homes billionaires own, the less freedom regular people have. Number 3. They avoid accountability. Well, here we remember a quote from a pretty genius mind. If you steal $100, you're a criminal. If you steal $1 billion, you're a businessman. That's the billionaire playbook. Fraud, tax evasion, worker exploitation, environmental destruction, they do it all. And when they get caught, nothing happens. Regular people go to jail for unpaid parking tickets, but billionaires crash entire economies and walk away richer. They don't get arrested. They get bailed out. They don't serve time. They pay a fine that's nothing compared to their profits. The worst part? They write the laws that keep them protected. Banks commit massive fraud and get government bailouts. Corporations pollute entire ecosystems and pay a slap-on-the-wrist fine. Billionaires dodge taxes for decades, and when exposed, they cut a deal and keep hoarding wealth. Justice isn't blind. It's a privilege of the rich. If you have enough money, laws don't apply to you. Number 2. They keep you distracted. Why question the system when there's a new celebrity feud, TikTok trend, or Netflix show to binge? Billionaires don't just control wealth, they control what you focus on. They flood the media with drama, distractions, and meaningless debates to make sure you never stop to think about why life is getting harder. Rising rent, stagnant wages, billionaire monopolies? Don't worry, here's a viral video to keep you entertained. Social media is engineered to keep you scrolling, bombarding you with advertisements, influencer drama, and outrage politics, so you stay distracted from who's actually in control. When people get too focused on real issues, the conversation gets buried. Billionaires aren't just selling you entertainment, they're selling you distractions, so you never notice you're being robbed blind. All right, guys, now let's talk about number 1. They want you to stay broke. Have you ever thought about why life keeps getting more expensive but wages barely move? It's not an accident. It's the system working exactly as the rich designed it. Billionaires don't want financially independent people challenging their control. They want workers, renters, and lifelong consumers, people stuck in debt, forced to work just to survive. Wages stay low, but rent, healthcare, and education costs keep skyrocketing. Student loans, credit card debt, and mortgages, they're designed to keep you in financial chains. And who profits? The same billionaires who own the businesses you work for, the banks that lend you money, and the homes you can't afford to buy. A society where people achieve financial freedom is one where billionaires lose power. That's why they rig the game, to make sure you work harder while they collect the profits. Well, that's it for today, guys. And as we always say, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.